Well, hello there. My name is Susan Hamilton, and you're watching OffBeat Business TV or listening to the OBBM Network podcast. Today, we're talking with Andre Patterson with Xscape Pain over in Frisco. Nice to see you, Andre.
Nice to see you as well, Susan. Thanks for having me.
Welcome to OffBeat Business TV and the OBBM Network podcast. CEO and host Susan Hamilton shares vital insight from local DFW leaders on successful life and business, focused squarely on local family business. It's time for our nation to rise, and we'll do it through a vibrant local business sector that stands up for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Ready to meet your advocates? Here's your host.
Andre, you have named your company Xscape Pain, and I think it's so important because, as you mentioned earlier, people don't necessarily know to even search for red light therapies. They've never heard that there is something so significant and so simple, really, that can help them. You know, we've got a world that's really used to the pharmacy answer for everything, right?
Absolutely. So throw a pill at it.
Yeah, throw a pill at it. But that hasn't been working. That hasn't been working in our veteran community. That hasn't been working with our kids. So I'm really excited to share Xscape Pain Wellness Center with our audience. So tell us a little bit about red light therapy.
Yeah, thanks, Susan. So the technical term for it is photobiomodulation. So think light, biology, and change. Okay. Right? It's actually technology that's been around for 40 plus years. It's gone by different names in the past. It's cold laser therapy or low-level light or low-level laser therapy. However, what they found is when our cells are exposed to light within a certain frequency, so in this case here, visible light of red light and near-infrared light, some phenomenal things happen. Ultimately, their ability to heal themselves goes way up.
Wow.
Right? So pain goes way down, inflammation goes way down, and it serves as a catalyst for our bodies to do what they were designed to do.
Yeah, our bodies are amazing.
They really are.
They really are. We can solve so many. We can build up our immunity, which is so important, right? Yep. But this pain thing, geez, Andre, the pain that's going on in our communities is so terrible. I mean, we've got a veteran community that's really struggling with a lot of the things that have gone out lately. But we also have there's stroke recovery.
Absolutely.
Right. There's phantom pain.
Yes.
Right. So tell us why. How is it so effective in the pain management?
Yeah. So what they found is our cells, when they're exposed to, and not to get too geeky, but when they're exposed to these light frequencies, right? What ends up happening is the mitochondria in our cell is kind of like the engine, right? It does everything. It gets revved up, right? It gets revved up. ATP is kind of the fuel or the gasoline for our cells, goes way up as well. And because of that, a lot of the processes that goes along with being able to clean things up or detoxify ourselves goes way up. And so all the associated ailments or processes that come after that are alleviated, like pain. So it serves as, it provides an analgesic effect where it does nerve blocking, right? All these different things that our body is really, really good at gets heightened. And so pain is oftentimes a good thing. It's a good thing in the sense that it indicates that something's wrong, right?
Yeah, that's really the only good thing about it, for sure.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh.
So what ends up happening with medication, though, and especially if you're talking about pain meds, is it obfuscates or blocks that process, but you aren't necessarily addressing the issue. With red light therapy and this whole approach, it's not just stopping pain. It's actually promoting your body to heal itself, which is very different, a different approach. So it's twofold. And so inflammation is number one. The CDC basically states that between inflammation and a process called oxidative stress, which is basically the damaging of our cells, called the aging process, is the culprit of 85% of all disease. If you can reduce oxidative stress and inflammation, all that other goodness happens as well, right? And so that's basically what happens from being exposed to this therapy.
Well, that's amazing. You know, Andre, I know our audience, and it's one of the reasons I was so excited to talk with you today, because 80 to 85% of American micro to small business tend to be family-owned businesses of 9 employees or less.
Sure.
Their interest in caring for their own health is huge. They're much more likely to say, I want to proactively care for my health, than they are to go to traditional doctors and pharmacology as answers for their problems. Largely because they're already dealing with that. You know, 80 to 85%, this group, our kids are in trouble, right?
Right.
There's we've got a 30 to 50% addiction rate in some communities, and that affects our workforce, that affects our family, and we're trying to do things in the midst of pain, and we got to be able to think clearly. And it's really, really a struggle, and an expensive struggle on so many levels.
True.
Expensive. Those pain, you know, dealing with pain is expensive. Trying to find the right solution, but
Absolutely.
It's expensive in terms of how much you're losing in the workforce because maybe you couldn't communicate well, or they're having trouble communicating. And
Right.
geez, as you hear a lot about on our network, communication's a big deal.
Absolutely.
Geez, when you got pain in the way, it gets in the way of a lot of stuff.
It does. It does. You know, what's funny is I talk to my employees all the time, and I say, when you meet a new client, many of them are coming with pain. You're not meeting that client. You're meeting their representative, right? Because it is mind altering. It really is. Not just the pain medications they're on, but the pain itself, right? And so it's definitely a big driver for us. We're excited about what we're bringing to the table. It's really, really cool.
Well, I'm excited about you also. And I understand that pain isn't the only thing that red light therapy is great for, because some other things going on in our life have to do with hormones, that have to do with our skin.
That's right.
And there's a lot of problems out there too, and that's also distracting, and we don't want to have those problems.
Sure.
In today's video world, I mean, we are in a climate of how we look is really important to so many people, let alone some of these young kids.
Right. Yeah, I mean, as a matter of fact, of people that I've talked to that have heard of red light therapy, they're usually one of two categories. The first one being the cosmetic world. So, you know, people that have, you know, mentioned like, yeah, we use it on faces all the time, or reduction of scar tissue or acne, right? All those things, those are big deals. The second group are veterinarians.
Huh.
Yeah, because they use red light therapy a lot on animals. And the reason why they're sold is animals don't suffer from a placebo effect. You can't convince an animal feels better.
Oh, wow.
Either it works or it doesn't, right? And so they're sold. They use it on dogs, horses, and all that good stuff. And so that's
this is really good to know. Hey, are you getting excited about this? I bet you're going to start some red light therapy. Hey, we're going to hear from some of our sponsors. We'll be right back after these messages. Strong business has always been the clear economic indicator. Work Suites in Allen, Texas is just one of 18 locations in DFW and Houston that support your necessary transitions with full service and affordable workspaces for upgrading or downsizing your current workload. You need to be focused on growth. Trust the office experts and helpful staff at Work Suites to take care of everything else, from dedicated phone lines and internet to furnished executive and co-working spaces. The OBBM network has tripled our business in the short months we've been with Work Suites and encourages you to step out boldly, make the tough decisions, and get back to work your way. Your nation depends on it. The OBBM network acknowledges that this is a pivotal time in history, and it is clear the United States of America has been undermined by many of our elected officials for some time now. We want our local business audience to stand strong in the face of what we now understand, and to be empowered to grow our businesses on the local level beyond the limitations that have been imposed upon us. We believe it is in our national interest to inspire our communities through strong economic development, and additionally to hold our elected officials accountable for accurate representation of we the people. For that reason, we encourage you to go to WeStandForFreedom.com to learn about the National Write Your Congressman organization that has been the trusted communication tool for local communities for over 60 years. Learn how your representatives are voting. Understand the laws and regulations under consideration on the state and federal level before they are enacted at the county and city levels. Communicate directly with these officials and stand up for yourself, for by doing so, you will protect the communities you serve from tyrannical rule and unconstitutional reforms. The OBBM network is the premier voice for local business, and we take that responsibility seriously. The OBBM Network has everything you need to grow and transition your business for success on popular syndicated podcast networks, Roku and other video channels, and the OBBM Network app. We work for you, local business, and we've got your back. We're back. You're watching OffBeat Business TV. You're listening to the OBBM Network podcast. I'm here again with Andre Patterson with Xscape Pain over in Frisco. Red light therapy for almost everything. I mean,
Sure.
I'm not sure what we miss out here, because what we've talked about already is we can more proactively deal with pain.
That's right.
We can detoxify our system, which I'm assuming is going to help immunity a lot.
Absolutely.
Tell us a little bit about the immunity effect.
Yeah, so, considering we're entering in flu season, right? Flu season's full effect coming up. Concerns with corona, of course. Immune boosting activity is a big deal right now. And like I had alluded to or brought up before, this whole process of oxidative stress drives towards, increasing of disease processes. And the fact that red light therapy reduces oxidative stress is a big deal, but it also helps clean out the lymphatic system.
No
it
way.
stimulates stem cells.
Excellent.
I mean, there's a long list of all the different benefits that red light therapy can drive. Because again, it's how your body is reacting to the light. So it's all these systems that are being exposed to these frequencies. They're now heightened and doing what they were designed to do. So now all the studies are not whether or not that process actually happens. They know it works. They know that process happens.
Sure.
But now they're trying to figure out, well, what does that mean for diabetes? What does that mean for mucositis associated with cancer? I mean, there's a laundry list of all these studies being done. I know when you and I talked before, the one that's cracking me up these days is we're starting to see these laser hats or these red light therapy hats.
And until you mentioned that, I hadn't heard of that. I do have a neighbor that has a tinfoil hat, but it's not that. He's what you would assume. He's struggling to recover, and there's a sensitivity. He can tell before a plane is passing. So there is this amazing sensitivity in our minds and through our skin that we should not discount. It's actually provable.
It is, and along with the hats, what I've been seeing with these hats coming out is they're being used to regrow hair. But the reason why I smile is because the original use of these hats and helmets was to address TBIs, traumatic brain injuries, PTSD, right? A lot of neurological disorders that they were using red light and near infrared. So I want to highlight that. We say red light just because it's easy, it's quick, but there's actually two frequencies that we're dealing with.
Okay.
It's red light, which is the visible, right? The visible portion of that frequency, which is around 660 nanometer wavelength. Then we talk about near infrared, which goes deeper and is invisible. And the reason why we highlight that is a lot of people hear the word infrared and they think infrared sauna, right? Or, all the aspects of heat. This is not heat. This is before you start getting into far infrared, and the benefits are very different from each other. There are benefits with going infrared, but we do both frequencies. And what they've found is depending on the frequency determines on the depth. So red light is often used for skin. The near infrared goes deeper into the tissue, into the bone, right? And so you have different aspects of what you're stimulating by leveraging those different frequencies.
Wow. So how often do you have to explain the difference between, I think lasers, I think red light, I think lasers, like you're saying, and they're used for they're used for therapy in different ways, right? They cut very cleanly. Oh, I'm not sure, right? And I imagine you get a handful of concerns with people when they come in and they just want to know more about this. I mean, how often is that person coming through your door someone you have to educate, or are you getting basically a more educated consumer coming in?
Mostly everyone that's coming in is having to be educated. Every last one, and that's including medical professionals, right?
Excellent.
And so, yes, you're right.
Yeah, they need to know about you.
Yeah, and many of them are excited.
Yeah.
They really are. They've back to the trend that you were saying before, people care that, hey, we'd like to solve problems, right? They're interested in all the studies that we can send them. There's so much science. I don't have to necessarily dig deep in every conversation. It's like, what are you focused on? Let me send that to you. And then they come back and like, oh my gosh, it was a can of worms. I opened up all this stuff. But when you think of lasers, you're right. You think of heat. You think of Star Wars. Right?
Or cutting, right?
Or cutting,
or letting the cat chase the light, right?
That's
you just kind of miss that you could actually climb in a bed
Yes.
that full body. Your head's in this thing. You're putting your entire self in this, and you're going to be exposed to a red light therapy that has all of these effects. You had mentioned that we don't have to be concerned about we might be claustrophobic, but not to take the fear away by knowing we're in total control of that bed.
That's exactly right. You're in total control. You can close the opening. I mean, you're in control of that whole experience once we close that door.
And it sounded like the distance that this door is shut on you is movable, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And
you're not closed in there tightly.
No. There's no locking mechanism, so you can pull it where you feel comfortable. Usually, people after they get to their first session, they're like, "That was great. That was awesome." They try to get it as close as possible. They reach their arm through and try to get it close because they get it. But I do want to clarify. Yes, we are calling out lasers, but lasers are not used in the light bed. There's two different devices that we're using. So yes, we have the full body light pod, which is LED, right? So they're using LEDs to go ahead and disseminate the therapy. But we also have a light probe that's targeted and concentrated. That is both LED and laser. Again, not to get too technical, we're talking about class 3B laser, which means that's non-cutting, right? That's not heat. That's why they used to call it cold laser therapy, because it does not cut. Just like you said, the laser pen, everyone's used to the fact that laser pen, I mean, you can hold it on your arm. It's not gonna, all it is a targeted beam of energy or light. That's it. And so, and we definitely use both. We have many clients that love doing both the full body pod as well as the targeted areas.
Well, that's interesting. And we're gonna hear from a few of our sponsors. And when we get back, I've got a handful of additional questions that I wanna ask you. You enjoying this? Hey. Come right back.
Our position in the market is that we work for a customer to align them with the correct retailer for their business. We'll custom price and build a contract around your business requirements, not around the supplier's preferred way of doing things. We go and do a custom price based on your energy usage profile. And in our business, we can help any commercial business owner regardless of the size of their company. If you're paying $100 for your electricity per month or you're paying $1 million, we're able to help you get a better price based on who you are. Our position in the market is that we work for a customer to align them with the correct retailer for their business. Texas is very proud to have been able to shut down 9 coal-fired power plants in the last 2 years and replace that production with clean burning renewable energy. 85% of the electricity in the grid for Texas is used on commercial. We're here to help those 85% reduce their costs as much as possible.
Introducing IV Hookup.
IV treatments have been the standard of care used for years to deliver intravenous hydration treatment to patients. Our medical director has created a safe, industry-standard protocol to efficiently support your wellness through IV vitamin hydration, including options for athletic performance, mood enhancement, general wellness, and hangover recovery. IV Hookup now offers full-spectrum COVID-19 testing at reasonable prices. This means we can get you and your staff tested in a quick time frame. Are you hosting a group event? We can provide a customized package for IV treatment and COVID testing as well. IV Hookup is everything you need to both stay healthy and to prove it.
Go to ivhookup.com to order yours, and we'll bring it right to you. That's ivhookup.com.
And we're back. You're watching OffBeat Business TV. I'm your host, Susan Hamilton, with Andre Patterson with Xscape Pain. He's over here in Frisco, Xscape Pain Wellness Center, serving the entire DFW area with red light therapy. And this has really been interesting to learn so much about these therapies. Now, you started to talk about the difference in laser therapy and then that LED bed.
Yeah.
And when it comes to our immunity and really rebuilding and detoxifying us, right? But rebuilding our cell structure. But I had a question about eyes.
Okay.
So what do we know about our eyes being exposed to this? Because a lot of times we think about the pilots that get a laser and it's a red light and they can't see.
Sure.
And now we're going to be in this bed and it's full body, even with, and the sunlight can even harm your eyes if you're laying out in the sun.
Yes.
So how does this affect your eyes?
Yeah, that's a great question. As a matter of fact, there's a lot of studies being done right now. In particular, they're addressing macular degeneration.
Yeah.
Dry eye, right? Where children in particular, where they're losing their eyesight. It's restoring eyesight, right? But again, in the bed or in those scenarios, they're not using laser. There's different ways to apply the red light and the near infrared. LED is a way, obviously, you can have a laser in the mix as well. In those cases, you're never using lasers on the eyes, ever. The LED, absolutely. And we know for a fact, I mean, my father is one, you know, yes. So my whole family, none of us could see except for my dad. My dad has had 20/20 vision his whole life. And recently, obviously through, aging, past 5 years or so, he's had to wear reading glasses. Well, since he's been getting in the light bed for the past year, he noticed he doesn't need his reading glasses anymore. And of course, now he can throw that back in our face.
I love knowing that.
And that's when we started researching. And we're like, what? This is crazy. And yeah, sure enough. Yep, that is a byproduct of red light therapy.
I can't wait. I can't wait to share you with my mother. She had a botched what do you call that when you do the
LASIK?
Cataract? Yeah,
a botch.
Okay. Yeah, and so that's not good. She's struggled ever since then, but it was all about, and they are not really dealing with it because there is a level of macular degeneration that she was going to experience. It still was a bad job that they did for her, and she's felt that when a person can't see well, it starts to limit them, right? They start to kind of go inside themselves a little bit. They're not.
The war closes in.
Yeah, it kind of closes in on them, and that bothers me. So I like to spend time with her, and I like to share things because I feel like she's too doggone young to be dealing with problems like that. I mean, we might vote you into office at your age. We need to be really, be excited about our age and be able to see. So I'm going to tell her about that and let her talk to you, and she won't be far from your offices. That's so exciting. But you're over there off of Main and Teal.
That's right. Main and Teal near, this is a plug for my guest, but Hertz Donuts. Because usually people's like, Main and Teal. I was like, do you know where Hertz Donuts is? And they're like, yes, I do. We're in the same parking lot.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. So you're easy to find. And you said when you walk into your building, that is pretty comfortable. You've gone out of your way to make it pleasing and comfortable so that people start feeling that de-stress when they walk in that door.
And we hire specifically, employees that are really empathetic, right? And so we also have an oxygen bar. And so that's becoming very popular. Where people that are waiting, they do their aromatherapy and oxygen bar, and they're like, all right, my turn. And they get in the hop in the light bed and they're on.
I think that's so interesting because I understand vibration and I understand what that means to us. And I think it's unfortunate sometimes that there's these ideas that it's new agey, when in fact there's so much vibration around us all the time.
Sure.
It's really a matter of us tuning into the right vibrations to experience a lot of healing on so many levels. I mean, the music that we listen to, aromatherapy, as you mentioned, and even the light therapy, that all has to do with vibration, doesn't it?
All with frequencies, absolutely, absolutely. And we're definitely seeing more and more. And, oftentimes, like you stated, we call it New Age, but when you really look back, it's been around a long time in different forms. And so a question that I do get from some people are like, so when would we normally get red light, right, in a natural setting? And usually when we used to be an agrarian society, a lot of us were outside a lot more. And you would usually get those frequencies early in the morning or late at night. Also depends on where in the world you are as well.
Sure.
Right, but yeah, I mean, that again, these are definitely things that people have been looking into for a really long time. I
think it's important to really state, and I don't think we can overstate, we're in a technology-driven world. We're exposed to vibrations that aren't natural just to get the job done, and that's not going to change anytime soon. That's the way it is. So we need to know how we can proactively care for ourselves in the midst of that environment. And now you popped up over there off of Main and Teal for Xscape Pain Wellness Center. And I love that it's a wellness center and you've got an oxygen bar.
Yes.
How many beds do you have?
Just one.
Just the one?
Just one and one probe. And so device does matter. So when people have stated before that they've done red light therapy, I always challenge and say, well, what type of a device was that, right?
Yeah.
Because the light bed that we have is top of the line, right? It really is. And so there's a reason why there's only one right now.
And you also have a handheld area,
That's
so
correct.
that if we want to go, we want to put some knees,
That's
so
right.
arthritis. I would think
Yes.
that this is great for all the itises in the world.
You name it. Yes, you're right. Anything having to do with inflammation, absolutely.
Right?
Arthritis is a big one. Some people have even nicknamed it, Arthur, right? When Arthur comes to town.
No, that's funny.
It's like, what? Arthur? They're like, yeah, arthritis. I'm like, oh, wow, it's got a nickname. Okay.
Yeah, let's get rid of the friend, right? That is not your friend.
Exactly.
That is not your friend.
Sure,
oh my
sure.
goodness, that's funny. So how can people get a hold of you? We've told them that that Xscape Pain Wellness Center is over there off of Main and Teal.
Yeah.
So tell us where they're going to, how they can reach you. Yeah, I think Instagram or Facebook did we get connected on?
Instagram is how we hooked up, but
yeah?
we're on all the social media platforms, right? They can call in, they can text us, right? All first sessions are free. All first light bed sessions are free. So you can easily just text LIGHTMEUP to 972-528-7033. And we'll start off the process and get you booked.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So there's one more thing I want to make sure I'm sharing with you. I will be right back.
Introducing IV Hookup.
IV treatments have been the standard of care used for years to deliver intravenous hydration treatment to patients. Our medical director has created a safe, industry-standard protocol to efficiently support your wellness through IV vitamin hydration, including options for athletic performance, mood enhancement, general wellness, and hangover recovery. IV Hookup now offers full-spectrum COVID-19 testing at reasonable prices. This means we can get you and your staff tested in a quick time frame. Are you hosting a group event? We can provide a customized package for IV treatment and COVID testing as well. IV Hookup has everything you need to both stay healthy and to prove it.
Go to ivyhookup.com to order yours, and we'll bring it right to you. That's ivyhookup.com.
Our position in the market is that we work for a customer to align them with the correct retailer for their business. We'll custom price and build a contract around your business requirements, not around the supplier's preferred way of doing things. We go and do a custom price based on your energy usage profile. And in our business, we can help any commercial business owner regardless of the size of their company. If you're paying $100 for your electricity per month or you're paying $1 million, we're able to help you get a better price based on who you are. Our position in the market is that we work for a customer to align them with the correct retailer for their business. Texas is very proud to have been able to shut down 9 coal-fired power plants in the last few years and replace that production with clean burning renewable energy. 85% of the electricity in the grid for Texas is used on commercial. We're here to help those 85% reduce their costs as much as possible.
We are here for just the last few minutes to continue understanding red light therapy. Xscape Pain over here in Frisco is doing some amazing things to deal with PTSD, to deal with pain management, inflammation, immunity boosting, proactive immunity boosting. Can't stress enough how important that is. You don't have to be sick just because everyone else is, right?
That's right.
It has less to do with exposure and everything to do with immunity.
About prevention. That's right.
Let's do it. Let's do it. You've got an oxygen bar over there. So, and aromatherapy.
Well, so the oxygen is actually infused with aromatherapy.
Oh, all of it is?
Yeah.
Oh
So
my goodness.
so basically you sit there and you pick your flavor, and a lot of times, depending on what people are wanting to address, whether it's a headache or allergies or what have you, we've got a menu and they pick, say, lavender or frankincense, and then we set up the system and they've got aromatherapy infused into their purified oxygen. And so when you combine that with red light therapy, which increases circulation, you've got all this oxygenated blood, right? You just come out feeling great. And so there's so many people that do both.
Now, if you have never heard this information and you're hearing it for the first time on the OBBM network, there's a reason for that. Alternative therapies are often shunned and considered something that are unprovable.
Sure.
And that's not true. those of us that have used those types of therapies and have learned to take care of it, and largely that is our audience, and we understand that, you can't share your message of success and solutions just anywhere, can you?
Well, yeah, basically. Yeah.
There's only so much you can say.
That is very
There's
true.
only so
That is
much
very
you can
true.
say. You can escape pain. But we want you to know that we are thrilled to have you here on the OBBM network and to have you as a member of our Offbeat Business Alliance so that people can reach out to you. And I wanted to make sure you realize that working with Andre over here at Xscape Pain in Frisco off of Main and Teal, he also has some membership ideas for you, some really affordable ways to come in and work with. So before we go, would you please share with our audience some of the ways that this is not, I mean, as you said, the first session, they're going to come and you're not even charge them for it. You want them to experience that health so they can come back.
That's exactly
But you've
right.
made it super affordable, Andre.
Yeah, we really have. And that was a family decision, right? When we actually started doing our research, we know that there's other providers out there in the country that are addressing, say, just cosmetics, and they charge a lot. Our goal was to make it very affordable, right? Because it's cash pay. And so a perfect example would be, the entry package would be a 3-pack, which, by the way, is no longer entry because most people tend to go bigger. Like we'll have a combo pack, which is consistent of 16 sessions, 8 light probe, 8 light bed at $249. So it comes out to like $15 a session.
Oh my
right?
goodness.
I mean, when people see the prices, they're like, yeah, I'll do that. Yeah.
Well, that means the whole family can go.
Yeah.
That means you can get in there and get, my goodness, that is wonderful. And
Absolutely.
I couldn't be more excited to share you with our audience. Andre, I love your heart for this community. You've got kids. You've got a family, and you understand what it means to take real good care of them. As I understand, you're even homeschooling them.
So they go to a charter school. We homeschooled for 6 years.
Okay.
They go to a charter school for professional students. And on top of that, we're all martial artists. Right, so we also benefit from these types because we're always jacked up in some fashion. So.
But you know how to protect yourself.
That's
You
right.
know how you're teaching the next generation how to be proactive with their health and their behavior. Sure. I am really proud to know you, Andre. Thank you so much for being a guest on Offbeat Business TV.
Appreciate it.
Until next time, you've been watching Offbeat Business TV or listening to the OBBM network. Come back and check us out for our next episodes and meet more wonderful people just like this.